Got that. What is shaking, everybody? Welcome back to Turntable Tales. I'm here, Jason. Right there is Brandon. What's up, dude?
Jason, VC. What's up, everyone? How you guys doing?
VC. What's up, everybody? We're gonna have some fun today, man. You actually, why don't I let you introduce this? I mean, I think you're the one that came up with this idea.
Yeah, well, we always have fun. Yeah, this was kind of I guess, kind of a neat idea because we had the idea that we started making it bigger and more complicated, and we brought it back down to basic simplicity, which was kind of nice. But it was just kind of playing off the idea of a Mount Rushmore. If we were just kind of picking a few different categories within the 80s, and mainly we did one for new wave, one for rock, one for R&B, and one for hip hop, and just kind of four artists that we feel would kind of, if we were going to put on a Mount Rushmore, not necessarily because they're the best of all time, but just this would be a great representation of this genre on a Mount Rushmore for the 80s. So that's what we're going to share.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were really like trying to get fancy with it, and maybe we will. I felt like maybe there was like 10 videos there,
Right.
But some of it is like, where do you draw the line with the genres and stuff? And man, you could just take post-punk and like spin that into like 5 different genres, right? You start to really drill down. So, and rock, obviously, so I think we just kept it simple, and who knows? Yeah, I mean, like I got in my new wave category, I've got some, a variety of stuff that's, it's more of that post-punk stuff, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this is going to be fun, dude.
Yeah, I mean, any excuse to talk about the fun 80s. That's what it boils down to. So this is going to be a blast.
Absolutely. And I love seeing what you got, man. The chat section is always awesome when it's live. So, yeah, I love to see your guys' picks and stuff like that. Sorry, let me get the camera back. There we go. That was an early one. Usually I don't start having like camera issues till like an hour, and 90 minutes in or something. Okay, no, we're ready to rock. All right, cool. So yeah, like you said, we picked rock, we picked post-punk, we picked R&B, we picked some hip hop. So we're just gonna go down the list and pick our Mount Rushmore. You want to kick us off, dude?
Yeah, which one do you want to start with? Rock?
Well, I got rock on top. So if that's convenient for you.
Rock works.
All
right. So again, when I was going through and just kind of looking at things, I was just kind of thinking about, again, just like artists that I really feel represents the 80s in just so many different ways within these categories. And one of the very first ones that came to mind, like I knew this was going to be on my Rushmore when it became just a straight up rock. The one and only Miss Pat Benatar.
Do not sleep on Pat.
Don't sleep on Pat. That's I need to freaking like trademark that phrase because I say it all the time. Don't sleep on Pat. And what
trademark
I always right. What I always mean too when I say don't sleep on Pat, what I'm always referring to is Pat Benatar became big in the 80s, and we all know about, Love is a Battlefield and, all their great hits or MTV hits, which are all great. I absolutely love them to death. But I think sometimes we sleep on the fact of just how straight up of a hard rocker Pat Benatar was. Yeah. And it's like when you start diving into stuff like even off of this album, even though technically this is 79, Pat's kind of an 80s artist, period. Because the 80s basically starts in 78 as far as I'm concerned. But if you look at songs like Heartbreaker, are you honestly going to listen to that and tell me you couldn't put that up against, just from a rocking standpoint, almost any Led Zeppelin song, almost any Queen song, almost like it holds its own against any of those gigantic classic rock type of bands. And Pat made it work, and she doesn't sound out of place. And like, it's just, she was freaking awesome. So anytime I say don't sleep on Pat, that's exactly what I'm referencing is don't let her 80s ballads and 80s great 80s stuff fool you. That woman can rock when she wants to rock. So that's why she more than goes on my Mount Rushmore of the 80s, because she represents all those elements so well.
And with the Obi,
With the OB.
though,
That's
yeah, dude. I mean, she's one of those where I see her. I do not have a Pat Benatar. I don't think I've ever owned Pat Benatar on vinyl. I probably
wow.
never owned a record by her. Just but love her videos and her music and all. You're right. She
Mhm.
did ass. And now every time I'm in there, I think of you and I see a Pat Benatar. I'm like, should I just get this? But there's always something else that kind of gets moved to the front. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, I gotta pick those up because it is easy to forget just how great that stuff is. And just how musical that stuff is too. That's the thing that's so cool about I mean, I guess you could say this about any era, but man, there's just so much cool stuff that came out of the 80s and so much diversity and stuff. And those are just straight up pop hits, but also,
Yeah.
rock and pop hits of that time. So hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. She walked that line and kind of went back and forth across that line so well. I mean, Pat Benatar, plain and simple. Pat freaking
Yeah.
Benatar.
Say no more.
Yeah. What was your
All right.
first pick on the rock side?
Let's say hey to some people, and then I'm gonna jump in on my first rock album. Here
Oh,
we got
okay,
Dr. Johnny in the house. Topic is so fire the camera started overheating. Yes, I'm thank you for giving me a good excuse. Raheem in the house. What's up, baby? Invincible from Legend of Billie Jean.
Yep. I have that 12-inch single.
Nice.
Love that movie.
AZ Mick in the house. Hey, what's up, AZ? Pat Benatar is a poor man's Def Leppard. That's
Yeah.
Well, that's funny, dude, because I think it was Pat Benatar. I was saying she was kind of like the female Billy Idol. That's kind of the way I think about her too. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. All right, so first one up for me in the rock genre.
See, can I say something really quick before we leave?
Yeah.
Just because this just kind of seems kind of interesting. It's like when I was talking about Pat Benatar, I was bringing up Led Zeppelin. You're bringing up Billy Idol. He was bringing up Def Leppard. That's the power of Pat. When those type of bands can automatically associate with what she's doing. Yeah. But sorry, I want to say that.
No, that's a great call, dude. You're right. Yeah, nobody was, we're not saying like some, weak band. It's like, nah, man.
Right.
Those are some heavy hitters, dude. She's right there with them. All right, so first one for me is going to be a little Scorps because I just think the Scorpions are consistently fun and consistently high quality. So when I'm thinking like I want to hear some, heavier rock or whatever, there's a few bands I might go to, but I love the Scorpions too, man. And sometimes I forget about that. I almost picked Rat, as a matter of fact, just because those records are so fun to listen to, man. I just love putting this thing on. And yeah, it's got, Blackout. It's got a couple of big hits on Can't Live Without You and stuff. It's just a fun one to put on front to back and listen to the whole thing. And I just about, the top, I haven't heard everything, but there's like 5 albums that I have that are all just very consistent quality records and stuff. And so they're really fun, man, to listen to. So yeah, Scorpions is my first one with a little Blackout. And I think for me, maybe we're picking records by the bands that we think ought to be on our Mount Rushmore. That might be like a recommendation to someone, if it's like, hey, you want to kind of jump in on it. This would be the record I recommend to kind of jump in on some Scorpions. Blackout.
Yes, I mean Scorpions, man. In the 80s, they were just fire. There's no other way to put it. Just such a great fun band.
Yeah, very musical. The vocals are so good. It's that heavy, high vocal that you want and stuff. So it's cool.
Right. And maybe for a lot of people that might not have been into the glam metal, hair metal thing, I feel like they were a really good gateway too, because like you said, they were so musical and melodies that could be easy to follow, but you were still getting the rock of the whole glam hair metal thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty quick. All right, next one here. I'm going with another band that we all know, and I think sometimes we tend to lose sight, especially if you look over their catalog over their first 4 to 5 albums, of just how fantastic and consistent a rock band they were. But a Mount Rushmore could definitely be a little Foreigner. I mean, again, I think this is one of those bands that we see in bins all the time, so we get so used just to saying, oh yeah, there's Foreigner. Oh yeah, there's Foreigner. But sometimes you just have to go back and really go through their discography and their catalog and just be reminded of how many just great straight up rock songs that they did. Not to mention, of course, the ballad route that they could go, which was absolutely fantastic. And talk about a band that really transitioned well from that early straight up rock into the total ballad element of the 80s. I mean, they did it effortlessly with Graham behind the microphone. So yeah, really, really great stuff. And an album that I would kind of recommend, because I think this one doesn't get as much love as the first two or three, is this one right here, which is Inside Information. This is their release from 1987. And the two big hits, I know at least had some consistent radio and MTV play, was Say You Will. Again, fantastic, kind of not necessarily a ballad, but power rock type of song. And then I Don't Want to Live Without You, just doing another one of their fantastic love ballads, rock and roll love ballads.
Mm-hmm.
Almost call it Waiting for a Girl Like You Part 2. That's basically what I Don't Want to Live Without You is. But yeah, such a great record. I think such an overlooked Foreigner record. So I kind of pulled this one out as a recommendation. But that's Foreigner Inside Information from 87.
I think it speaks to Foreigner too. And I know that one's your jam. And for me, I love Foreigner just as much. To me, it's Foreigner 4. I just love that album. And, mostly because that's the one that my mom would spin while I, whatever, at home and stuff. And so I'd hear it a lot. And I just love that, man. Just packed full of hits. So, I mean, yeah, Foreigner, dude, it's just one of those bands that maybe, isn't on everyone's radar necessarily, or at least on their turntable. And so it's like so much great stuff on those records, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 is fantastic. I mean, from start to finish, that's definitely their best record. So I totally agree with you on that
Urgent, one. Jukebox Hero. I mean,
so so much great stuff.
What's up, Music in the House? Thanks for being here. Good to see you. All right, next up for me. I mean, you knew it was going to be here. We got Journey. I tried to stick to 80s stuff. So this is 1980. This is Departure. And this is Any Way You Want It. This just has some great stuff on it, man. And it's just, man, dude, I got to see him earlier this year, and it was like a bucket list item, item for me. So yeah, man, I love Journey, dude. And yeah, you could say, Steve Perry's stuff started in the 70s, the late 70s, and then into the 80s. And there's some great 80s stuff. I think they were really killing it in the early Steve Perry years. After this, of course, they did a couple other albums, Raised on Radio, which I think is a great album, but just very different. It's not even all the same dudes, Steve Perry firing people, the drummer and the bass player, and hiring different guys. And, it was kind of a weird gig. Having said that, for what it is, I still love it, but it's Journey light in a way. But this one right here, man, we're still right there in the mix. So yeah, little Departure. I mean, I love Journey. What else can I say? Nice picture of the lads on the back right there. So yeah, only because I'm trying to keep it in the 80s, 1980 right there, 80s Departure.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, Journey would definitely make my list, but I didn't want to touch it because I knew that was all yours.
I was going to say, I wonder if we're going to overlap on anything. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, that was the one I thought might happen. So I was like, I'm just going to leave Journey alone. It'd be like asking you to kiss your girlfriend in front of you, and it's like, you just don't go there. Just don't do that. All right. Next on my list, and again, I was just kind of flipping through my collection, right? And this is one that jumped out that like I think could place itself on a Mount Rushmore. Bryan Adams.
Nice.
Of course, his album Reckless. But again, I think when you start looking over his 80s catalog, it was as strong as most artists out there on some level. And of course, Reckless came out in 1984. And again, I think he was one, excuse me, that kind of did what I was saying about Foreigner a moment ago, where he could put together some great big kind of rock hits. But of course, he was also absolute king of the ballads back then too, the rock ballads, like stuff here like Heaven and stuff like that. I mean, but at the same time, when it came to just like, straight up rocking type of songs, you had stuff like It's Only Love and like Somebody. I mean, just really great songs. So yeah, I mean, I think just, of course, Summer '69, not even getting into just like more of the just pop rock type of hits. But I picked up a greatest hits album by him. This is maybe I picked up at the shop like 6 months ago or something like that. But it is kind of interesting when you have all of his hits laid out on a 2 LP and you really get some perspective. Like, holy cow! Like Bryan Adams freaking had some gigantic songs that he put out over his career, song after song after song after song, and of course, quite a few of them came off of this classic here too. So, yeah, just to switch it up a little bit, I have no problem putting Bryan Adams up on that Mount Rushmore to represent, just that straight up '80s rock.
Yeah, I like that, dude. I didn't know he had a best of a greatest hits, man. I'm gonna have to check that out. And like double LP. There we go.
Yep.
Because again, there's another one like Pat where I just don't have any of his stuff in the mix, but a greatest hits would be perfect for me. So
right. All right, what do you got next?
Good pick. All right, next up for me. And I look, when I'm looking at my rock Rushmore, it's going to be a lot of the usual suspects. I tried to go a little deeper on some of the other ones, but with rock, it's like I just couldn't not pick some of these. So, also up on the rock round Mount Rushmore is going to be a little Rush, Moving Pictures. I think these guys slayed out in the early '80s and to the mid '80s and stuff. So, I mean, what can I say, man? Tom Sawyer, Limelight, just great stuff. XYZ, just so much cool stuff, man. Or YYZ rather. But I mean, it's so good, dude. So yeah, and there's my beat up copy that I got a good deal on because I went ahead and sacrificed the jacket for the wax, so I'm good with it. But yeah, I mean, this is just essential to me, man. It's like it's such a great representation of what they were during that era and stuff. It's just so not a lot to say, but yeah, now touring. I think some people in the chat are probably either have seen them or are gonna plan seeing them on this tour. So yeah, little Moving Pictures, Rush.
Yeah, fantastic album.
Oh, by the way, what's up? Axel Foley is in the house. Good to see you.
All right, so we're in the last one for rock here. Excuse me. I'm gonna play off of actually something the one that you picked, which you kind of went down the Scorpions route, and I think kind of on that same flavor. Let's go to Whitesnake.
Yeah.
I mean, again, when you talk about a band that very much ruled the airwaves in the '80s, whether you're talking about the MTV airwaves, the VH1 airwaves, the actual airwaves with the radio. I mean, Whitesnake 1987 was just one of those albums with just songs you could not get away from, because like none of those stations or anything, they just refused to stop playing Here I Go Again, Is This Love, Still the Night. Like, I remember they did an interview with Coverdale one time, and they were talking about how stuff got in the '80s and how he felt about it and all of that. And he talked about how tired he got of seeing himself all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like how many times can you watch her roll over the hood of the car? He was like, it was just so much because it was all the time. And it's like, yeah, we were there. We know. Excuse me. But even with that being said, the one thing I always say about this album is every time I go back and play it, it never loses its original punch from 1987. Excuse me. This is an album that for some reason never gets lost in its time. Where something had like, a big kind of like a big wave or a big punch that came with it when you first listened to it. But then when that genre of music kind of goes out of style or fades to the side, maybe it loses its punch kind of thing. Mm-hmm. This is one album that does not do that. Like when you put on Still the Night, as much as that song has just been totally overplayed, it still hits the same way it did when it came out back in '87. And we're not even talking about the other stuff like, just Bad Boys and Give Me All Your Love Tonight. I mean, just such a fantastic, perfect rock album. Again, crossing over between that rock and the glam / hair metal thing. So yeah, no problem putting Whitesnake on that Mount Rushmore either. Fantastic, fantastic album.
Very cool.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's side one, track one. That's how I remember, but I could be wrong. There's like this guitar intro that comes in. It's just so good, dude. Yeah. And you just know exactly I love when that happens on an album. It just says, wake up. This is what you're about to listen to for the next 35, 40 minutes, man. And yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, you're right. It is track one side when it's Crying in the Rain. I mean, it just
Yeah,
that
yeah.
freaking thing just kicks in and you are rocking all the way through. And I'll put this out there too, just we're kind of a little bit off topic, but I've said this before because Tawny Katane, the chick, David, his girlfriend or whatever, and the one who's in all the videos. I still to this day firmly believe she deserves to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. and I don't say it like in some smug kind of silly kind of way. I mean honestly, the impact that she had on rock and roll from the standpoint of there can't be a single woman who ever did any type of modeling or videos or anything like that that wasn't completely and totally trying to replicate what she brought to the table of that video age. I mean, she was the face. Like, she was the person that established that whole freaking thing, and all the other women came after that. So if they ever did in some category, in some way, shape, or form, put her in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, dude. They really should. They could. I mean, it's not as if everyone doesn't already get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? I mean, it's like they should open up new categories like that because, and that's something that is such a part of its time, right? When is that ever going to happen again? You know, I mean, the '80s when you had like MTV was just in anyone's house that had cable. You know, it's like it's such a it's a lost, whatever you want to say, it's lost to time, I guess, forever. But it's just. Having said that, for that era, it's like, absolutely, dude. There's so much cool, iconic stuff that isn't necessarily directly tied to the music. Like you said, that even some of the VJs on MTV were super cool. You just want, sometimes I love just going to YouTube. Did I just say YouTube or MTV? YouTube and watching like an MTV where it'll be like, it'll cut across videos and it'll show you the little clips in between interviews and stuff. It's so nostalgic to see those guys again, you know?
I know. I've always said MTV ought to start a YouTube channel, and all they need to do is say this YouTube channel is going to play the first 5 years of MTV uninterrupted. Just hit play from the first moment they came on and just 24/7, just let it stream for the next 5 years. I mean, they would have 10, 20 million viewers just like that. Dang. And it'd be such a blast to go back and watch.
That would be really cool. I think a couple of them actually were. I heard them. We were taking a trip somewhere, and we rented a car, so we had like satellite radio, and we're switching around. And there is a channel. I think it was maybe two. Maybe it was all of them. I don't know. But at this particular time of the day, there was two of the VJs from MTV, the early ones, had this show on satellite radio, and I was like, no way. So I had to listen to that for a while because it was so cool hearing their voices again.
I have a satellite radio in my car, which I listen to quite a bit when I'm on the road, and it's kind of cool because there's so many people that have their 2-hour things, from Alice Cooper to Rick Springfield to like all kind of guys. It's really kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't have satellite radio, but every once in a while it's fun just to, flip it on if you're in a car rental or whatever, check it out. All right, I'm going to jump to my next rock. Let's get Dr. Johnny Fever. Is it me or does anyone else realize David Coverdale never went on his own in that video? Tawny was all over him like syrup on pancakes. I got to see it again, honestly. I don't remember, but now you got me curious.
He's driving the fake car or whatever, and it's like she was all over him.
I gotta see that. All right, next up for me and last up, the head number 4 on my Mount Rushmore, and I guess it's going to be the 4-headed monster, but a little Van Halen right there. 1984, of course. I mean, this is my favorite rock album of the 80s. I couldn't leave it out. I mean, even if I wanted to, and I wanted to go more eclectic, or whatever, but I couldn't. I had to go with Van Halen on this one, and we're going to go 1984 just because. I mean, I love it, man. And talk about MTV, dude. It's like, when you get to see David Lee and Eddie Van, and everyone looked like they were having a great time. Everyone's got a smile. Then they're like fighting, in the back or whatever, in the studio and all that stuff. But man, it was just so cool. Such a cool image, and really. This is kind of what introduced me to like heavier stuff, really at least being intentional about like, okay, this is Van Halen, this is the Scorpions, this is that, you know, and like putting them and then listening to it more and stuff. Like before that, it was just stuff other people listened to, and I'd hear it if I was around those people. But once I saw Van Halen and I, you know, heard these songs, I was like, oh damn, okay, I got to see what this is about. Let me get into some of this heavier stuff. So yeah, man, Van Halen 1984, no Mount Rushmore without that record, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agree on that one. All right.
What's up on the list?
What's
the next, rather?
You want to do? Let's kind of break it up. Let's do R&B and then go back to new wave.
Perfect. That's exactly the order I have it in.
All right. Okay, so first up on my R&B list, 80s R&B list. And as always, you know, I always like to say, I feel like 80s R&B just does not get enough love here in the VC. So any of you watching this that might be thinking about, or that's into 80s R&B, maybe thinking about making a video talking about 80s R&B, please do. It's a fantastic genre that needs more props. But I'm going to start with, I mean, probably one of the most defining bands from the 80s R&B time frame, which of course is the one and only Cameo.
Word Up.
Word Up, exactly. That's a song I'm sure that everyone kind of knows them by, you know, being in commercials and everything else. But you know, this is their release from 1985 called Single Life. And the way that I've always defined Cameo is they are the most rock and roll R&B band that was out in the 80s. You know, maybe Parliament Funkadelic and stuff kind of had that title in the 70s, you know, in terms of how funky they were, but they kind of had a rock and roll, do what we want to do attitude. Cameo was the band that did that in the 80s. They didn't necessarily follow a formula. I mean, some stuff was funky, some stuff was kind of silly, some stuff was more R&B soulful, but they just did what they wanted to do, and they delivered R&B with a rock and roll type of attitude. And two favorite songs off of this album is Attack Me With Your Love and Single Life. You know, I think this is probably their most accessible album initially getting in, but then once you kind of dive in, especially again, if you have that funk bug and like that kind of stuff, that groovier stuff, they have plenty of that up and down their catalog. But yeah, the one and only Cameo, definitely on my 80s Mount Rushmore right there.
If you listen to the radio, the R&B station in your area in the 80s, you heard Cameo. I mean, you heard Word Up or Candy or, you know, some of those songs, like at any given point, man, they were just always locked in. And for us, it was, what was that? KSOL. K-Soul was the channel in the Bay Area in California. K-Soul, yeah. And man, that's where I got all that stuff. Man, I knew right where, do we all know this? If you grew up in the 80s or you had a radio, man, you knew right where all your stations were, right? It was like KSOL, boom, and it was KITS. That was going to be like modern rock and alternative. Then it was KMEL. That was going to be like classic rock. Then it was, you know, whatever. I knew all the channels, dude. Yeah, Cameo, man.
Yeah, for me, it was KJMO. That was all your pop, new wave, and all of that. And then you kind of went right down the line over to like KSHE. That was your classic rock. I mean, yeah, you had all your stations just dialed in.
Yeah.
I used to have the telephone numbers to the station written right on the back of my door in the bedroom, because sometimes you had to call and make a request. And you didn't have a smartphone with the number saved. So you're just like, oh, KJMO, can you play this?
Got the cassette ready in the boombox, ready to hit record.
Just sitting like a crackhead, just like waiting for your song to come on.
Cussing out the DJ because he won't shut up through the intro. Like, man, shut up, dude.
You don't have to talk up until the first word.
I know, like all my tapes had like the beginning of the song was always the DJ, and then finally once the singing came on or whatever. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's really cool. I saw your you know, when you show your room tours and stuff, you have a lot of those cassettes still. Are those actual tapes that you recorded back in the day?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have a good majority of all the mixtapes that I had going back to grade school, like going back to 5th grade.
Dang, that is so cool.
And every now and then I'll get the urge. I'll go there and pull some out and just throw them in, and it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that coming right after that, coming right after that, coming right after that. If I still had my mixtapes, that'd probably be all I would listen to, man. That's just so cool. So nostalgic. All right.
R&B, first one for me. I'm gonna kick off with an obvious one, but we'll get a little bit more obscure as we go. But I mean, dude, how could I leave out Prince? And I'm calling it R&B because I had to get him in, and I wasn't gonna put him in rock. So I'm calling him R&B in this one because I couldn't leave him off my Mount Rushmore. But dude, I mean, Purple Rain. I mean, we already heard 1999. 1999 was such a big hit that it was like you pretty much knew Little Red Corvette. Like we were locked in on Prince before this came out, right? Because those videos were in the rotation on MTV and on every radio station. But then this came out, man, and it's just like, and we got this after Thriller, of course. We heard Thriller for a couple years, and then this came out, and it was just like, man. So then with the movie and everything, dude, and all the girls in your class had to go see him live and, come back. They saw the movie and all this stuff, and while most of the dudes were just, listening to the records or whatever, But anyway, man, it's Prince, man. It's cool stuff. It's a iconic album from the era, and I just cannot leave it off my Mount Rushmore. Little Purple Rain.
Yeah, so classic. All right, the next one I'm going to, again, another band that kind of hit that sweet spot in the 80s R&B, because you had your older, more sophisticated type of artists that did the stuff that they did. But then this was kind of the one that was really designed for the younger crowd, designed for the younger girls. And New Edition was kind of taking up that space for the most part. But then there was also some bands like Ready for the World that was like, hey, ladies, there's some cute little Jerry curls over here, too.
No doubt, dude. Look at those guys, man.
I know. Jerry curl. They must have messed up like 3 or 4 jackets just doing that photo shoot right there with just activator all on the back of it.
But they're all a little bit different. It's like a little subtle difference on each of those Jerry curls.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically like mullets when you start to really look at them.
I know. It's so
Jerry
funny,
curl
dude.
mullets. Man,
that's awesome.
But hey, back in the day, I had one for a year too, so I'm not gonna say anything about it, boy, because yeah, these dudes were so freaking cool. And it was kind of nice too, because not only were they doing, just awesome R&B, but they were definitely mixing in that kind of funk dance thing to it. So, it was one of those ones you just didn't listen to, but like you had to get up and kind of get your groove on when you started listening to them.
I mean, Oh Sheila, like, dude,
yeah, exactly. Oh Sheila, Digital Display, which is my ultimate jam. I mean, oh my goodness,
that is fire.
Yeah, and then at the same time, they were also kind of really kings of just that overly, like, I'm actually 12 and I'm trying to sing like I'm a grown man in love. It's like the easy way I can describe their ballads. Stuff like Tonight, Slide Over. I mean, this album was just slamming. And I've always found it so funny too, because there's 6 of them in the band, but anytime you're listening to a song, you're hard pressed to hear 3 different instruments playing at any point in time. So like, I don't know what everyone was doing, but whatever they were doing, it was working. So yeah, Ready for the World. They get a little overshadowed by, I think, New Edition to some degree, even though New Edition came, I mean, this is 85, so yeah, New Edition was still kind of doing their thing. But yeah, one of the awesome boy bands from the 80s R&B time period right there.
That is a great call, dude. They were right there holding their own with New Edition, and even, a little more funky than like ballady, I think. Yeah, man. Cool stuff.
Awesome.
All right. Well, since you brought it up, little New Edition right there, baby. This one is Heartbreak, and this has got Can You Stand the Rain on it. It's got, what's the other one that's on here? Why can't I think of it? If It Isn't Love, dude. Yes. If It Isn't Love, man. So just for those 2 tracks alone, I mean, this is a great album altogether, but those 2 songs are just absolute, I'd say bangers. I mean, in there, but I just mean like those are top 10 R&B chart hits, man. They're so good. And this is, they've grown up a tiny bit as we see them in their suits and all that stuff. Now, now we got the high top fades going a little bit, a couple of them. But yeah, man, this is a great record. And also, if you see these in the wild, you have to grab them at any kind of price, because man, these are $50 and up right now. which I guess, look, it's late 80s, so I can see the price a little bit higher, but man, dude, I was shocked when I saw that. And I
Yeah.
kind of was, the guy had to like rip the money out of my hand when I was trying to buy this thing, because I was like, am I really going to spend that? But it's just too good. And it's nice, clean one. So yeah, man, I'm glad we got a new edition in there, dude. So yeah, little heartbreak.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album. I mean, with all the great stuff they had, like, I think Can You Stand the Rain is their best ballad ever.
Yeah.
And If It Isn't Love is their best video ever. So long after their career had kind of almost peaked or whatever, like they're still making some of their best stuff even after that, which is, it just shows the amazing talent that was in that band.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right, next on my list, I might be stealing this one from you, but like this is one where the words had to come out of my mouth too, because I'm almost sure you're gonna have this one. The one and only SOS Band.
It's the icing on the cake, baby, right there.
Oh my goodness. This, if aliens came down to Earth and they were like, we've been picking up some few radio waves here and there, hearing you guys talk about things, and what's this 80s R&B thing that we've heard people talking about? Like, what exactly is it? This is one of the bands / albums that you hand to them and go listen to that, take it all in, and you will know what 80s R&B is all about. And the SOS Band, I don't even know necessarily what to say about it. I mean, they brought every element that made 80s R&B so fantastic. And they could definitely switch it up from album to album, because sometimes it would come across a little disco-y, sometimes a little dancey, sometimes just straight up soulful. But it's just, they just had the magic touch. On here they have
always somehow, I was going to use the word hard, but it seems like it's always like, they're always hard, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. It's not like that. It's even if it's chill R&B, it's still delivered in such a powerful way from that. That's the way, I guess powerful is the way to say it, at least in my opinion. I mean, it's like, sorry, I didn't steal your thunder, but yeah, you say, I see SOS and it's like, yes, absolutely, man, because their stuff is so just high quality, regardless of the diversity that's in the music. So anyway.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about too, because I think like where I sense that is either it's in the vocal, or if it's not in the vocal, it's in the actual music where there's some type of a punch on it.
Yeah.
But like whatever electric drums or whatever they're using, it may be a ballad, but it's gonna do like every time right where it needs to hit, it gives a punch. But again, maybe I'm thinking about it the same way, because that makes total sense what you're saying to me. But yeah, like I said, songs like Just Be Good to Me, again, kind of an upbeat, again, you can't even describe it. You just have to go listen to it. It's just freaking awesome.
So good, dude.
And my absolute favorite song by them, well, no, I can't say that either, because Weekend Girl's right there too. But Tell Me If You Still Care is probably my favorite song by the SOS Band, which is on this album right here. And again, it's just such a soulful, soft, powerful, that same thing that you're saying. That, I can't put it into words. I'll just shut up. But SOS Band, definitely,
well, it's like
Mount Rushmore.
You said Just Be Good to Me, right? That's going to be the hit. That is a banger of a song. And then you just let the record keep playing, and you will be surprised just how you're going to it's so funky. You're just going to keep letting it go and keep letting it go. And they're like longer tunes, right? I don't think there's only like 6 or 7 songs on. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but something like that on that one.
Yeah. Went to, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 3 on one side. Yeah. Like 7. 3 on one side, 4 on the other.
Yeah. And it's just, you just put it on, you're going to do a little housework or something, man. Throw that sucker on there, dude, and you'll be shaking your booty, man. It's so good.
So good.
All right.
Well, no, go ahead.
Well, so no, you keep going. I'm just gonna.
Go ahead. I'm good.
Well, you called it, dude. I had to have SOS too, and this one's got take your time, do it right on it, man. And that is the first. Again, that goes back to early, like Rick James, SOS. I'm like 9 years old, roughly something like that, probably. And this kind of the first time where I'm hearing the music and then just going, okay, what is this? Because I am in love. And it was like, I just couldn't believe how, I don't know, just how powerful and how cool and how different it was from other stuff I was hearing in such a good way. And my parents were they're still listening to like, Fleetwood Mac and Grateful Dead. And I'm like, have you guys heard this? Why did you not tell me about this stuff, man? And, but in a way, I guess what I'm saying is that this was kind of like the first part of like our music, it was kind of like, it wasn't my parents' generation anymore. It was like early 80s, late 70s, early 80s were coming and stuff. And this felt like ours. And it was like this special thing. Like, man, what is this? But same thing with the one you just showed, dude. It's just fire front to back. But I mean, take your time, do it right is the one, because that just happens to be the one. It got a ton of airplay, obviously. It was on the radio every hour, seemed like. And in every grocery store you'd go into was playing and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So there you go. We crossed paths a little bit right there, man. So two for the SOS band on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. And for those maybe that aren't as into the 80s R&B, they're like two really popular songwriters, Terry and Jimmy Jam, I think out of Philadelphia or Minnesota or something like that. But I mean, they wrote so many hits for so many different 80s R&B artists, and they were actually working with Prince, with the time and all of that. They wrote songs and was doing all this work with Prince, and Prince ended up firing them. And the reason Prince fired him was because Terry and Jimmy Jam kind of went behind his back and started doing stuff for the SOS band. So like stuff on that first album with Take Your Time, Do It Right, and all of that, that was Jimmy Jam and Terry and Jimmy Jam. So it's just like that kind of shows the level of songwriting that was involved in what the SOS band was doing, which is another reason why they're just so freaking fantastic.
No doubt. Before we go on, let me just, I got to catch up on a few comments here.
Yeah.
Axel Foley says that new edition is hard to find in good condition. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that's why I pulled the trigger, because I was like, you know what, man, I'm not going to find it this clean again. So let's just get it.
It's hard to find in bad condition.
I know. Hard to find it all. Carlos, what's up? Yeah, Minneapolis. There we go.
Okay.
Minneapolis sound. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. What's up, Orange Margin? We're just going to type the story Brandon's telling. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. If you go to the wiki and look them up, man, and you'll see just like even stuff that you didn't, it's just kind of wild. A song here and a song there that was just a hit for some, seemingly random, whatever place in the music space, where you'd be like, they wrote that? That's crazy. But then when you hear it, you're like, yeah, I totally hear it now. But yeah, they just touched so many bands.
That magic Jimmy Jam, T and Jimmy Jam. There's some video someone did here on YouTube where they put like the top 40 songs written by those two.
I know you shared that with me. Thank you. I watched it. It's so good.
So good. And just like, man, the talent those guys had. Just insane. I know.
They just had that whatever, like you said, just that fairy dust that was like right place at the right time, man.
Right. All right. So we last one for the R&B.
Yeah, last one for R&B. Here's our fourth head on the Mount Rushmore of R&B.
All right. This is a name I'll put on there, and I don't have to explain that much about it because you guys all know. I mean, one and only Rick James was definitely in his heyday going into the mid 80s until he got all kind of strung out and doing all the stupid, silly stuff that he did. But yeah, I mean, everyone knows Super Freak and all of that, which of course is fantastic stuff. Mary Jane and on and on. But this is his release from 1982. Excuse me. Dance With Me was a big song off of this. But my two favorite songs off of this album, one's called 69 Times, which is one of those videos I remember seeing as a kid. It's just one of those simple, straightforward bass kind of grooves, and Rick just doing his sassy Rick James vocal delivery on top of it. It's arguably my favorite Rick James song out of his entire catalog. And then, of course, this is also the album when Rick James, who is Melvin from the Temptations, the bass guy from the Temptations, he is his nephew, I think. But anyway, for the Temptations reunion album, Rick James wrote the song "Standing on the Top" for the
Oh,
Temptations
really?
reunion album. Yeah, which is one of my, again, just absolute favorite songs by him, and so that's also on this album. And so, I mean, yeah, Rick was just, I mean, he was a beast, man. He had his demons and all of that, but he also had some beautiful stuff that came out at the same time. So he more than deserves to have his face on that Mount Rushmore of the 80s R&B.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I always think of the song "You and I," which is just like this
Mhm.
driving, funky, like it almost I could just see him. I don't know, man. It's just you want to dance to it, dude. And it's just like this freight train, kind of a funky freight train, man. It's just I just love that song and the way it's um structured or composed or whatever you want to say. The way the song is constructed is
Mhm.
such a badass song, dude. I just love You and I. It's so funky and so cool. Um, all right. So for me, last one. All right. You haven't seen his face yet. You know you're gonna see him. Little MJ, little R&B. I'm saying R&B. You know, I didn't have anywhere else to fit him in, but you know, I just think this. I mean, dude, it was life changing for me. I could not have him on the Mount Rushmore, right? And so yeah, man, I don't need to say anything about this. It's just so freaking good, man. Human Nature is just one of the greatest songs ever written. Of course, it was not written by Michael Jackson. It was written by the guy in Toto. I always say the guy in Toto because I never think of his name. I hate saying that, but the guy in Toto wrote it. But you know, the way MJ kind of whatever added his thing and stuff. I mean, it's a perfect song in my opinion. If you twist my arm, I have to say it's probably MJ's best song. It's so good. So yeah, man, I love it. I mean, Thriller, it's so good, and it's got to be on my Mount Rushmore. So I mean, nothing I can add. I mean, I haven't even seen the biopic yet, which you have.
Oh
So
yeah,
you recommend people go see it?
yeah. It's really good. I mean, I really kind of felt like instead of trying to make a gigantic story about it and put a bunch of whatever, it's almost more like a movie you can go see just to celebrate Michael Jackson. Like, you know,
That's
it's
cool.
telling his story and all that, but it's not getting lost in the weeds, you
Yep,
know, which is kind of nice. So yeah, it was definitely worth the see. Great movie, I should say.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Orange Margin, the day Prince fired them, they went and mixed "Just Be Good to Me." Yeah,
Yep.
it's like that's a good way to get over, you know, like a little breakup. Um, how about Anita Baker? Thoughts, said Axel Foley. Anita, what do you say, Hall of Fame?
I mean, well, number one, fantastic, without question. Yeah, I think especially a lot of her B sides, you know, I think that those don't get as much love as they should because she had, you know, a couple of hits that were, you know, Sweet Love and all that kind of stuff. But when you start diving into like the second side of that album with, you know, Been So Long and or Missing You Baby and like a lot of other things, she, as big as she was, I don't think she got props for all of her ability across the board. So yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, she's one, you know, Giving You the Best That I Got is such a great song,
Yeah.
man. And it's like she's one that I think of as she's just such a phenomenal singer. You know, like with Whitney Houston, you know, I call Whitney Houston the greatest female vocalist of all time. However, I'm kind of basing that on one song that's just so good, you know, and stuff. And it's like, so, you know, with Anita, like I don't yeah, it's hard for me to think about her. I don't really think of her music that much. Like I'm not
Mhm.
like hip to like you know, all the different albums and whatever songs she's put out, but I just know when I hear her voice, I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that says anything
There's
about me,
something
but
very genuine about her delivery. Like she
yeah,
never tried to go into wild places where she shouldn't be going. It was just like, this is my voice, this is my feel, and she did kind of the same delivery on every song.
yeah. All right. We're in post-punk new wave land now. So we each got a Mount Rushmore. What do you say, man? What's your first post-punk?
Okay, I'm gonna put this one out there, even though I think this might be one that I'm stealing from you. So I apologize ahead of time.
Ooh, nice.
The Psychedelic Furs.
Very nice.
Yeah, Mirror Moves. No problem putting them on the Mount Rushmore with the new wave and post punk. Um, I think just from a sound perspective, not even saying necessarily they sound good. I'm not even saying that as much as their sound is like the epitome of what 80s post-punk and new wave is. That
Yeah.
that monotone, like so you're not a Whitney Houston type of singer or anything like that, but there's something about that type of monotone 80s, what I call 80s alternative love, is that's the voice that I usually reference with that. It's like the Psychedelic Furs are the perfect example of that. And there's just something about that that's just sucks me so deep back into where I was, what I was thinking, and how the 80s felt. It's one thing to listen to fun 80s music. It's another thing when that 80s music can actually pull you back into that time frame. And that type of thing just does, and the Psychedelic Furs does it as well as any band. And so, The Ghost in You, of course, fantastic track off of this. And yeah, just a 1984 killer.
So great.
So yes, Psychedelic Furs totally on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, you said The Ghost in You, that record also has Heaven on it, right?
Yes.
Then you got, not on that record, but you got Pretty in Pink, Love My Way. You could keep going and get a nice little greatest hits out of them. And I off the top of my head, I can't think of many more right now, but it's like, when you hear it, it's like, that's top notch stuff. And so I think it gets forgotten, like, just how much great stuff they did for soundtracks and everything, man. Just so high quality, man. And like you said, really the voice of an era in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of extreme too. Like you say, when it gets forgotten about a little bit, I think it's because if you are not necessarily a big fan of the 80s new wave, that stuff is going to disgust you because it is so 80s new wave. If you are a fan of 80s new wave, you will never stop listening to it, and you can't find a way to stop listening to it because it embraces every element of it, and it's not ashamed to do it. It's just freaking fantastic.
You're making me think of it. I didn't grab it, but like the Thompson Twins are kind of a similar one where, because of course they did a song for 16 Candles, right?
If You Were Here.
Yeah, If You Were Here, but then they have so much other great stuff like
Yes.
Lay Your Hands on Me, and just a ton of great stuff. They very much they sound different, obviously, but they're almost two peas in a pod in terms of just how iconic to the 80s they are.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up on a couple comments here. Yeah, Whitney. Yeah, I'm saying, to me, Whitney is the greatest female vocalist. But the thing is, to me, You Give Good Love is the greatest performance. To me, it's like, I can listen to that and I torture my girlfriend by saying, "Did you hear that? You hear how she bends her, like she hit a note, like at the very end. You only hear it for like a 50th of a second, but just listen, you got to rewind it and it's hard to catch it, but oh, that's so crazy. It's so genius what she's doing on that song. I love it. It's heart-wrenching. I start bawling every time. It's not even necessarily like I'm to lyrics or anything. It's just like when you hear greatness, you gotta let it out, dude, because it's just so good. So anyway, yeah, I mean, Whitney. CJ, what's up? He says, my Mount Rushmore 80s, Run DMC, Malcolm McLaren, and Kraftwerk. Absolutely. All bangers. Post-punk, Sonic Youth. That's right, huh? Sonic Youth. I always think of them. Hey, they came in. When did they come in? Were they late 80s or did I just miss them? Like,
I think late 80s, but I always think about them as a 90s band. Is that what you're going to say?
Like early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, I think of them as a 90s band too, but I don't know their whole catalog as well.
Yeah, my best friend during like in the late 80s, Sonic Youth was always turning me on to stuff like that. And like Sonic Youth, he really loved. One of his favorite bands. All right. So first up for me on the 80s, post-punk, if you will, is a little New Order. And here we got Substance, 1987. And I mean, dude, this is just one of the records that I'm in summer school after 10th grade. My girlfriend hands me a couple of cassettes. This is one of them. And it was locked into the Walkman, dude. And I just listened to this thing all day and all night and just memorize every note. And it's so good. And so like those couple bands we just mentioned are Psychedelic Furs. It couldn't be more different in a lot of ways, right? But it's like, it's still so iconic in its way. It's, the electronic aspects are there, and stuff that's so different. Like they didn't even need lyrics sometimes, it was just you just sit there and listen to the crazy sounds and stuff, the electronic bass and all that. So
Yeah.
anyway, New Order, I'm putting them on my Mount Rushmore first. So Substance, I think this is basically the A sides leading up to this era, and it's so good, man.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I love telling this story, and I've told it probably 20, 30 times. I'm going to tell it again really, really quick. I'm in college, freshman year. We have non-quiet hours from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's when you can play your music in the dorm as loud as you want, people playing their guitars, whatever else. I'm in
Mhm.
my room, and my suite mate is playing this freaking song that's just blasting out the windows. And I'm like, holy cow, what is that? I walk over to his room and knock on the door, and I'm like, dude, I just want to know what that was you were playing. And he was like, Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order. And I was just like, that was totally my intro to New Order was that day. So I was
Yeah,
like,
it
you mind
really
if
it
I
really
dub
was,
that really
dude.
quick? And he let me record it on a tape, and it was just like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, they obviously played, guitar and bass, but then lots of keyboards and drum machines and stuff too. But it's like someone mentioned Kraftwerk, but we didn't. I don't think we really. There wasn't a lot. I didn't hear a lot of Kraftwerk growing up. It was you'd hear like their one big tune. I can't think of the name of it right now. Maybe somebody will know. But it was like you'd hear it like constantly. But that was kind of where I heard from Kraftwerk. Like New Order came along. I guess I'm comparing them only like 10 in the sense that they're, I guess you consider them both kind of electronic bands, electro bands, whatever.
mhm,
Obviously, Kraftwerk came much earlier, but I think
yeah,
a lot of it was us. It was like New Order was kind of that entry point, and maybe go backwards from there. I don't know. I could be wrong. That's just kind of where I was and where I was from. That's what we heard. We didn't really hear Kraftwerk, but New Order was kind of like that entry point into like, okay, this is cool. This has definitely got that electric sound and stuff, electronic
yeah.
sound.
Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, I discovered craft work long after, because I'd already gotten into hip hop and Africa Bambaataa, and like I didn't even realize the Planet Rock was a sample from Kraftwerk until
Hmm.
years and years and years later down the road. So Kraftwerk was kind of one of those guys that just started something so unique and so new, and so much spawned from it, that I think it took a long time for them to get any credit for all of the crap that they created, or their influence, I should say, going into the 80s.
Yeah, it's the general public wasn't ready for it. It's like
Yeah.
for me, when I started hearing more craft work and like seeking them out and being like, oh yeah, this is cool, because yeah, you would hear so many samples from their music and stuff, and it was
Mhm.
great. And there's some great stuff out there. And then I'd always be so shocked when I would look at the release date. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
73, 74, whatever it was, super early, man. I'm like, no
Crazy.
way, this is crazy.
So far ahead of their time.
Number two on JJ's list, he's got the Clash, little
Flash.
Clash, nice.
It's like, all right, so this is the second pick for post-punk slash new wave. Again, one of those bands that, much like the Psychedelic Furs, with just a defining sound for me, and I think everyone will understand this considering my 80s love. Flock of Seagulls.
That's another one. It was in my hand, dude, but I'm like, I just put it back. But yeah, dude, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Flock of Seagulls. I mean, of course, with the video of I Ran, which is so iconic from the 80s kind of video perspective. But I think the song Space Age Love Song is just like I was saying about the voice of from the Psychedelic Furs. That synthy and guitar thing that they do in Space Age Love Song is just as 80s defining as it possibly gets. And I love them every second for it. So yeah, I mean, 80s new wave, there's very few bands that could represent as well, or nobody's going to represent better than a Flock of Seagulls. Maybe equally, but not better.
Well, especially as soon as you add the look in the mix, man, those
Yeah.
hairdos. It's like that was, yeah, that
Oh,
was peak
so good.
80s new wave right there.
So good.
I remember there was, kids were in high school, so we're like mid 80s, mid to late 80s and stuff. And there was this dude that had just wild hair. And girls would always go up and be like, "Oh man, how do you make your hair? How do you do your hair?" He's all, "I wake up in the morning, I hairspray it and I come to school, basically. Whatever it is when I slept and woke up, that's my hairdo for the day. It's like, what? Really? No way.
Such good
Oh,
times. Man.
funny.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
That's a great one, dude. Yeah, like I said, I had it in the hand, man. Michael, what's up? I've seen Kraftwerk live 1980, 97, and 2006. Wow.
Oh,
They
that's
were just touring recently. They came to the Portland area too. The year I think I saw Adamant, and I'm actually, we got into Adamant and we're getting ready to get our seats, whatever. We just got a soda or whatever it was. We were standing there waiting to get our seat or whatever. And I'm checking the phone and like who's coming out, and I saw Kraftwerk, and I'm all, ooh man, should we go see Kraftwerk too? We didn't end up going, but yeah, I mean they're still doing their thing.
That's awesome.
Oh man, see, check out Axel Foley's got Echo and the Bunnymen, The Sound, The Chameleons, and Love and Rockets. Love and Rockets famously out of the Bauhaus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Echo and the Bunnymen, dude. Groove Seeker, what's up, baby? All right. Did you just, oh yeah, you just did.
Yeah, your turn.
Okay. Next up for me, Susie and the Banshees. A little hard to tell on there. This is her album, Hyena. I always talk up her album, Juju. I love that album. It's got some just such cool tracks on it, like Halloween. I love that song, and just so much great stuff. And it's got a real vibe to it. This one does too, though. This is Hyena. This one has Robert Smith, as you know, lead singer, lead guitarist out of The Cure, who performed with Susie and actually ended up on this album. It's so top notch. I don't think Susie gets the credit, man. I just think maybe it's an acquired sound, but man, dude, it's like, it is so at the top. I would put it up there with The Cure in a lot of ways. If you just go to like her singles and stuff, it's high quality pop, post punk, goth, whatever you want to call it, man. But it's so good, and her voice adds to it, having her really great deep, female voice coming in on it is phenomenal. But I mean, so good, man. The drums, the guitars, the bass, all of it. So I love Susie. She has great music all throughout her career. I think Juju and this to me are the most front to back, the best. If you're gonna listen to a whole album, Hyena, it's so good. So anyway, had to put her on the Mount Rushmore. There's Robert Smith right there out of The Cure. Cool. So yeah, cool stuff.
Nice. All right, my next one here, and again, one of the best things about the music and the albums is the stories, right? So the quick story, which again I've told before, but I'm gonna tell it again. When I'm in junior high, there's a guy in high school named Jimmy Morris who rides our bus. Jimmy Morris is the one that brings the little boom box, plays all kinds of music from rap, hip hop, metal, pop, everything else. He wraps bandanas around his knees and around his arms. He's that guy. Doesn't shower enough, but Jimmy is the bus DJ. And the two things I remember so vividly of being introduced to off of Jimmy's boombox was Shot in the Dark by Ozzy Osbourne. First time I heard it, Jimmy, what the heck is that? And the next one was Your Love by The Outfield.
Ooh.
I first heard out of Jimmy's boombox. And dude, what is that? I mean, just little mind-blowing, altering moments for a kid. I mean, it just totally was. And I think, as much as it's almost like kind of cliche to the 80s or whatever, there's kind of a reason why. And it was just so huge. And a song like Your Love is just, whether you like the song or not, everyone knows the opening line to that song. As soon as you hear the first two guitar chords, you automatically know where you are and where you're going. And so definitely a great representation of something just made it so big during that 80s new wave time period. And of course, you also have hits like Say It Isn't So on here, All the Love, which is fantastic. And then albums that after this, For You, My Paradise. I mean, they didn't just stop making hits after this particular album. So another great band, I think, that represents that new wave, maybe a little more towards the poppy side as opposed to like the post-punk side. But yeah, another fantastic band that I would have no problem representing the awesomeness of that new wave period that we went through.
Nice. Yeah, I love that cover too, man.
Yeah, so cool.
All right. Next up for me is a little B-52s.
Uh,
I know I get talking about cliche. I know, but it's like, dude, Wild Planets. This is their second record. And I love a lot of people will have heard Give Me Back My Man. And it's kind of the big, sort of hit on this one. But man, dude, it's so good. You put this on, it's the way the song starts. It's hard to even describe it. It's so simple, but it's like you hear like a kick drum and then boom, right into the like keyboard bass or whatever. And then the vocals, by Kate and Cindy, whoever is singing on that song, are so cool. And the way that it is sung, it's the epitome of what I call like just musical vocals. It doesn't matter what the words are. It's like the vocals are just a melody and a harmony that interweaves with that tune and stuff. And it's so freaking good, dude. But it's one that goes, I'll give you fish, I'll give you candy, I'll give you anything you want, that kind of thing. But it's a cheesy, it's talking about cheesy vocals. Why does Starship get, so hated on for their song when like you got cheesy stuff like this? But anyway, this is a great album, man. All the tracks on here are super good. This is one where you don't pick the needle up at all. But yeah, man, Give Me Back My Man. That thing is so driving, and the way it kicks you right into the song, man. I just love that kind of thing, man. And so yeah. B-52's on my Mount Rushmore for sure.
I haven't spun that in a while. I got to pull that one out for a spin.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, last one on my list. I had this urge to go towards some Depeche Mode, and I was like really, really wanting to pull something. But I thought this was actually a little bit of a better compromise, again, in my mind. So I went with Yaz.
Oh, yeah.
Upstairs at Eric's.
There we go.
Kind of thinking, you're getting some of that Depeche Mode synth for obvious reasons, but then also there were definitely more of the other elements that came out of the pop new or the post-punk / new wave, with like some of the dance elements and some of the more kind of straight poppy elements and that type of thing. So it's Depeche Mode and some. But yeah, I mean, again, such a great legendary album here in terms of that 80s new wave time period. Don't Go was kind of a big dance, kind of electronic dance club type of hit thing. And of course, the amazing ballad Only You. I guess we call it a ballad. I don't know exactly what you call that.
Yeah, I think so.
But the other thing I kind of liked about this too is it also, it really kind of brought, not only did it bring forth like those different elements of pop and new wave that I was just describing, with the electronic and some dancey and some, but then also just the fact that, especially when you first saw her back then, you didn't know if that was a guy or a girl that was the lead singer, so there was also something else about that. You're really crossing over now to where you're not even sure what the lead singer is, or am I hearing a female voice? Am I hearing more of a masculine element? Am I hearing more of a feminine element? And I think it was just kind of one more thing that was like, this is the thing that's a little different about the whole post-punk and new wave. Guys are starting to put on lipstick and girls are starting to sing like the guys, and it's all just going these different directions, and this is kind of the new thing. And I think this record kind of represents that pretty well, especially back then when you didn't have Google and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can still remember my friend Eric Eric in the hallway outside of gym class, 6th grade, when he first told me that Boy George wasn't a girl. What are you talking about? That's a chick. It's like, no, Boy George is not a girl. Yes, she is. And we battled about that for 30 minutes in gym class. Like, you're such a liar, Eric. But clearly he was right.
And his early arch nemesis, Pete Burns from from Dead or Alive, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Pete Burns, the sexiest dude that from the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, I actually had, so in the 80s, you could get those literally wall posters. I don't know if you had any of those, where they'd go ceiling to floor.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like, and I, on either side of my door in my bedroom when I was like 16 or was whatever, I had a poster on either side. One was The Boys Don't Cry, Robert Smith, where it's kind of the back of him and it's black and white and he's holding the guitar.
Yeah.
That was on the left. On the right was Pete Burns, basically nude, but it was like a side shot of him. And
Mhm.
like the hair and the makeup, I'm like, from here up, this is a chick. It's like, so I'm okay with it. Oh man, but yeah, dude, I love
Yeah.
those posters, man. Where are those?
Oh, I wish they would bring them back more. The only one I had, 'cause it was like the only one I actually had the money to buy, because I could have had a million of them, was the Eddie from Iron Maiden, the one from
Oh,
Live busting through the door.
yeah, yeah.
It was like man, I thought that was just the absolute coolest thing in the entire world.
Oh, those were so
That
cool,
was
man.
that was the only door poster I had.
Posters, man. That was as heavy as anything, dude. MTV records, t-shirts, posters. I mean, my whole room, I probably redecorated the same room in a year, like 3 different times. One, it was all Cure stuff. And then it was like Echo and the Bunnymen. And like I said, some Dead or Alive and stuff. Yeah, man. I just remember those days, dude. At one point, I had all Marilyn Monroe posters. I spent so much money on that stuff. I think about it, dude. It's like that stuff just got torn down. I wish I
Yeah.
still had them.
I used to buy a bunch of posters too, and like my friend Matt and I made this deal with each other. We were going to see who could cover up their entire wall and ceiling first, and the rule was there couldn't be any white showing, so it had to be all edge to edge. So you
Ooh.
bought the big
So you're
posters.
cutting clippings out of magazines too, then to fill in and stuff, or?
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. There was this place that, like a strip mall that, had places that sold magazines. There was a dumpster in the back that we used to call the green thing. That was the nickname for it. That's where they threw away all the old magazines when the new ones come in. And there's like barbed wire around it and everything. So we would go over there like 1 o'clock in the morning, and someone would climb over the green thing and just start throwing all of these magazines. And we get like
Man,
3
dude.
trash bags full of magazines and just go home and, oh, there's a poster, there's a poster, there's a poster. And that's how we got so many of them. I mean, we weren't stealing, we were just jumping in, we were dumpster diving.
I forgot about green thing. Yeah, baby. Everyone needs a green thing in their life, dude. Oh my
Gosh,
gosh.
forgot all about that. Holy cow.
Yeah, let me get these comments quickly here. We got CJ Flock of Sequels, good one, classic.
Definitely.
Michael Ultravox, OMD, Yellow Magic Orchestra, and Japan. Dude, those are fire. And
Yeah.
Yellow Magic Orchestra, I didn't learn about until just a few years ago, man. And that is a sleeper, dude. I'm glad you mentioned that, man. I haven't listened to all their stuff, but to me, the top 2 or 3 that get talked about are just so good, man.
I almost picked OMD for this. It came close.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, Rushmore's only 4 heads, right? So it's really tough to leave stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Susie and the Banshees Rule. I saw her with Budgie when they formed the Creatures for a solo tour. Ooh. Yeah, the Creatures had some great stuff too, man. What that was like around 89 or 90, something like that, maybe. Yeah, dude. Post-punk number 3, Talking Heads, especially Speaking in Tongues. Yes, Speaking in Tongues. That is my jam. Yeah. A lot of people pick Remain in Light. I love Remain in Light. To me, they're 1A and 1B, but I got to go Speaking in Tongues because that is the CD that I'd be bumping in college thinking I was cool. And I would create, because it has some bass on it, right? I'd be in my little white Hyundai, just a hoopty, dude. White with a spray painted fender because I had to replace it with a silver one because when I bought it, it didn't have a fender. I'd roll the windows down as I'd go to my car, get him start it up, put down the windows so everyone could hear. And what am I bumping? Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues. And I remember there was this girl there as I'm pulling out. I'm like looking at her like, "What's up, baby?" As I'm like bumping this, Speaking in Tongues. She just looks at me like, "Bro, who are you? Like, just get out of here." I thought I was so cool, man. But yes, that's a great album. All right.
Excuse me.
Well, speaking of posters, I left one guy off, and I had a few posters by this fella as well. And we're talking Adam Ant.
Oh, nice.
Or Adam and the Ants, as he was when he had his band formed in the early days. This is, I think, technically his 3rd album, I think Prince Charming came out before this. Dirk Has White Sox was first. This is the one I recommend, as we're kind of showing records that we think are good places to start for these guys. No 80s post-punk Mount Rushmore without Adam Ant, dude. So that's a good. Oh, I found a lot of my, it's kind of hard to see, but I found a lot of my drawings that I did in like the 80s. That one is marked 89. And I tried to pair them with the records so that I don't, because they were just sitting in a portfolio in my garage. So anyway, love this album. What can I say? I was so lucky to see him play with the English Beat a couple years back, I guess. 70 years old, a little ginger and not as, getting around as much as he was back in the day. But hey, so what, man? I mean, this is the one I had the
Excuse me.
this was locked in the VCR Adamant 2 Prince Charming review. I've talked about it a million times on here, but I just love Adamant. So yeah, still to this day. All right. I think that's it for our post-punk session. We got one more category.
Yeah, going into the little rap and hip hop,
which I was light. Unfortunately, I'm still building my collection back, as I've said, and the hip hop has been kind of trailing. So I was able to get 4, but
well, I picked 6, and I figure since I couldn't decide, I'm just going to make a game time call and pick 4, and then we'll go from there. So I'll start off here with let's start with this one. This is one that I've spoken about before, but again, my personal Mount Rushmore, I'm going to throw Audio 2 up there.
Dang it, dude. When am I going to get this? Because I see you hold this up, man. I'm like, dude, I've sampled it too. It's freaking great.
Yeah, and again, I think this is probably one, I'd be curious about it, like everyone who's watching, if you're familiar with Audio 2 or not, kind of let us know down in the comments there. But I have to kind of pick this one just because when I really think about going to my hip hop collection, the albums that I've pulled out and have spun over the past 4 or 5 years, I think this might be the one that I've spun the most. Is this Audio 2? What more can I say? I absolutely love this time. I should say this time period in hip hop because this is actually the late 80s. This is like 88. So we're kind of out of the fun period, so to speak, but there's still some kind of hanging around. Because NWA and Ghetto Boys and everything is kind of right on the cusp of this here. But I love this album because it's, I don't know, it still has that fun element. Nothing about it is too serious. The lyrics don't even necessarily make sense all the time, but it's really almost more about them just enjoying being in the world of hip hop and the flow of hip hop. And almost kind of being like characters without going too far in like the Bismarcky, wacky kind of thing. But yeah, really, really hard to describe. But yeah, just again, every single song on here. My favorite is probably what would be my favorite song off of this? I Don't Care. That's probably my favorite song off of this one. And I think that's a great one. That kind of represents those wacky lyrics and stuff that, again, it's just kind of light and fun, So hard to describe. Just have to go listen to it. But yeah, my personal Mount Rushmore. This is the one album that I just cannot stop spinning from my hip hop collection.
Whenever you show that, it just reminds me of Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. For whatever reason, like I was listening to
the colors and the sweaters.
I know.
And all of that. I mean, that's that time period.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. I was listening to He's the DJ and I'm the rapper, right? I think that's the right order. And it's great. It's got like a Nightmare on My Street, something from like the Freddy Krueger thing and all that, man. Yeah. It's so good, dude. My only like complaint is like every song sounds like the theme to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm just like, dang, dude. It's like, so he's got that same kind of like, whatever. Like you can literally just replace, this is a story all about how my life got flipped up. I turned upside down. You could just insert it into any song on that record and it's going to fit. But I still love it because it's such a cool part of, part of history. And just, yeah, it's really fun to listen to. So, all right. Michael says, I played Kings of the Wild Frontier until there was nothing left but the spindle. Absolutely love Adamant. Yes. Me too. Classic. Audio 2, says CJ.
No.
Raheem, how you put Audio 2 on a Mount Rushmore of anything? Oh.
Is that from a you heard them and didn't like them? Or is it so many other rappers you feel are a lot better? I'd be curious.
Yeah. Shots fired. Shots fired. Okay, CJ Bismarcky going off in Public Enemy. Hey, wasn't Bismarcky in one of the he was in one of the Men in Black films, right? With Will Smith, I think. Isn't he behind the counter and he's doing like that beatbox thing as one of the aliens or something? I want to say that's Bismarcky. Somebody check me in the comments. I'm pretty sure.
I've never watched all those movies from front to back. Never have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's him. Raheem says top billing was the jam on that album. The rest is soft rap, even for its time. You see that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of the more non-serious stuff.
Yeah.
So that's definitely true.
All right, next up for me, UTFO, Roxanne. Leader of the pack, beats and rhymes. Oh, see, okay, so we hit on one. Yeah. Dude, you got the hype sticker on yours, man. I love that.
That saves me from having to use it. Thanks. So that helps. Thank you for pulling that one.
I got a sticker too, but I think it's more like a DJ sticker because, yeah, it's even got a little DJ sticker on the label there. But man, I mean, dude, when it came to, I won't name them off because I'm going to show a couple more here. But man, when it came to early hip hop and that stuff, it was like UTFO was. I mean, they were all over the radio. You know, you put on whatever the hip hop station or the K-Soul, probably in my case, where they'd play hip hop, here and there and stuff. And every day you'd hear Roxanne or something off of UTFO, man. So yeah, so good. So beats and rhymes. Yeah, it's that early stuff, man. And it's like, I know it's not for everybody, but that's how I cut my teeth on hip hop, man. So I just love that stuff.
Great album. All right. Next for me, as I've said before, one of my probably top 10 hip hop albums of all time.
You grabbed it so I didn't have to. I don't have it in my collection right now. Please pick one up for me if you see it.
Will do. I mean, just a kind of a perfect mixture of the kind of dance, if you will, like in the world of hip hop, a dance kind of poppier element, but still kind of the b-boy break elements inside of things, and just kind of a little bit of everything. But to me, it really is kind of a dance / party type of hip hop album.
Mm-hmm.
We Are Houdini, of course, like Friends, classic off of that, Big Mouth, 5 minutes of funk. I mean, just everything that made hip hop fantastic during this time, which is like 84, 85, right around there. But another one of those albums that it doesn't lose its punch every single time I listen to it. It just takes me back to that time frame. And the only thing that could have made this album better is if they would have had the song, which they came out with later, Funky Beat. If that would have taken place on this album, it would have been about as perfect as it could be. Just, yeah, one of my top 10 favorite hip hop albums of all time right there with Houdini. So, of course, they're going on my Mount Rushmore.
I wore that cassette tape out, dude. I mean, 5 minutes of funk is a big boy tune too, man. Like that's like, you start making a list of like, I think, in a way, I'm thinking of White Lines for some reason, but that's because it just got so much airtime. But, you can put that right up there with a lot of that early stuff, man. It's just, that was a staple. I mean, you're just going to break that out. When you break out the cardboard, you break out 5 minutes of funk and you do your thing. I mean, it's like so good, so good.
There was something about 5 minutes of funk that was like, a lot of Houdini stuff was kind of a little more playful, if you will. I mean, they were being serious, but a little more playful. Yeah. Something about the beat and the groove on 5 minutes of funk seemed intense.
Like, you had
go ahead.
Yeah, when I say like a big boy, it's like the instrumentation. Like you got the dee 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 on the keyboards, but it's that bow on the bass. That's like, oh shit, okay, we're getting real now. Yeah,
right. It was like
so
a serious funk band was playing that's music or whatever. Yeah, that's
exactly
banger.
Oh, so good. Yeah, that's great, dude. I wish I could pick it, but I don't have it. Michael, I forgot to mention Landscape, one of the most unsung heroes of electronic music. The name of their first album caught me instantly, from the tea rooms of Mars to the hell holes of Uranus. Oh, now that is, that's a hell of a title right there. From the tea rooms of Mars to the hell holes of Uranus. Ay, ay, ay. Sounds like a bad day at Taco Bell. All right.
Uranus.
UTFO and Houdini 100. Don't forget Roxanne Shante. Yeah, the first diss song, right? I mean, they went back and forth with that whole thing, dude. Yeah, man. So good. Okay, let's keep it going. I'm excited. See, this is the one, dude. The hip hop, baby. This one gets me excited. Boom. Now, this is The Egyptian Lover. A lot of people might say that's not hip hop. He is rapping on some of this, I would say, in his own way. And this has definitely got the electronic stuff, that a lot of stuff we just mentioned. But Egypt, I mean, dude, Egypt is the place to be. And yeah, man. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, you just can't. You can't not get down to this. So yeah, I love The Egyptian Lover. I love that his stuff is such a vibe. You can just kind of put it on, and yeah, either put on the white gloves and break if that's your thing, or you know, just get down to these tunes, man. And this is On the Nile. This is the one that has Egypt on it. And even though he did some great stuff on some of his other albums, I mean, this is the one, dude. So for me, at least. So I love this. I'm going to give Egyptian Lover a little bit of love. Another drawing. This one's not mine, though. This was actually done by the Egyptian Lover, and he signed it. And so I keep it with I keep it with my Egyptian Lover records. So pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I love it. It's so weird. It's like coming full circle, you know? It's like you have something like that. It's like, dude, I was walking home from school at like 13 singing his tunes. And then here I am, 40 years later. And then, I got the drawing with the autograph. So pretty neat.
That's cool.
I'm sure we all have stuff like that. That's what's so fun about this, right? Is you end up like acquiring some of this stuff or whatever, or seeing a band that you were in love with 40 years ago or something. It's such a full circle kind of experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next we're going with definitely from the 80s, Song for Song. I think probably the best hip hop album from the 80s, from the very first song to the very last song. EPMD. Strictly Business, their debut album from 1988. I mean, title track, Strictly Business, Because I'm Housing, So Let the Funk Flow. Of course, You Got to Chill, huge hit off of that. It's My Thing, You Are Customer, Get Off the Bandwagon. I mean, just everything on this album was absolutely slamming. And again, this was 1988, so as we're kind of saying about Audio 2 earlier, where we were kind of somewhat starting to come out of some of the sillier side of rap and hip hop, and silly as in fun, not as in stupid. And this was one of the albums that was also kind of doing that. They didn't choose to go gangster rap and all of that, but they chose to kind of go with what we were just saying about 5 minutes of funk, where the music is just a little more intense, a little more serious, a little more kind of, the beats are a little more grown up, more Roger and Zappish and stuff like that. And so, yeah, there was something that was, I don't know, dark is not the word, but heavier. It wasn't light. And they just, for me personally, they just nailed that and just kind of created this is the segment of rap that I really want to start going down. And it was pretty much anyone that was sampling the old funk stuff and the old Roger and Zapp stuff. That avenue just completely opened up for me through this album. And I swear, I think it was 1980. I think it was 88 when this came out, where between this album and Van Halen 5150, there was a solid summer I could not play any other album outside of those two. Locked in. And of course, they're both my favorite albums by the band. So, but anyway, staying on topic, EPMD, Strictly Business, totally on my Mount Rushmore.
That's a good one. That's one I came to way later too. Like there are a bunch of bands where it's like, or artists that I didn't hear them at the time necessarily, but that's one that's so cool. And I'm like, man, where was this? We've talked about it too. Like you and I will compare. I'll send you a song. Oh man, remember this? And Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And the same thing for me. And it seems like sometimes the factor might be like region, right? Like I'm on the West Coast, you're like more in the Midwest, I guess, right?
Right.
And so it's like, I think we just, some of the stuff they'd slip in, a little bit different, then that might be one. I don't, do you know where they're from? Not to put you on the spot, but do you have any idea where they're from?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. I'm sure somebody here probably knows.
Yeah, someone probably knows, but yeah. I mean, in fact, Michael mentions it right here, man. Beastie Boys, Brass Monkey. I mean, hell yeah, dude. The Beastie Boys were, I think everybody in the country heard Beastie Boys no matter what. It didn't matter where you were. That was such a big record.
Yeah.
CJ, yeah. I don't know if he's shouting out what you had or if he said it before. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it, but
business.
Either way. Brandon, I need to check out EPMD, but for me, the best album is Debut by Run DMC, solely due to Sucker MCs, the singularity of pinnacle of hip-hop achievement. Bro, I mean, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, Sucker MCs is just kind of the absolute DNA building blocks of rap music. I mean, it's just the straightforward beat and lyrics on top of it, and everything else can spawn from there. So that's a fantastic one.
I know it's all those, like that one, King of Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got everything that's on. Why can't I think of it? The one with My Adidas on it, and I can't. I'm
thinking about Kiss, Raising Hell.
Yeah, Raising Hell. Right. So good, man. So good. I mean, Run DMC, man.
Yeah.
They get there. I'm not saying they don't get their flowers. They do, but it's easy to forget sometimes just how much of an impact they made and how great that stuff was. Like you said, rap went in a whole bunch of different directions, and they had theirs, man. And it was like, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, but Run DMC was definitely kind of the first band that, the first rap / hip hop band that actually took it anywhere towards the mainstream.
Right.
Where people that hadn't heard rap music and things of that nature, they saw Run DMC, they saw Walk This Way and all of that. Like Run DMC totally opened up that door.
Yep.
MTV, for MTV Raps to eventually come across and all of that. That, I mean, everybody owes that to Run DMC.
Yep. All right, next up, I'm gonna switch these two actually because I wanna end on a big note. All right, I want to see how many people have heard of this record. And I only heard of it by mistake, by accident. This is going back to, let me find the date on here, 1983. And it's Warp 9. It's a B-Way. Okay, they're making it on the Mount Rushmore because my hip hop is light right now. My 80s hip hop is light. But I will say this, man, is as goofy as that cover is, it's kind of fun to listen to. Yeah, it's light. Yes, it's early. Yes, it's not, we're still dealing with, like, we haven't even hit like Houdini and, UTFO yet. But, it's kind of cool. I would say people give it a chance. Warp 9, it's a beat wave. And, it's got some hip hop elements to it and stuff like that. So, it's very listenable. And it definitely holds a place for being early, a full album of hip hop tracks, So, it's on this Prism label, which is kind of cool. So anyway, they're making it in because I didn't have enough stuff to fill in. So it gives me a chance to kind of show the Warp 9 right there.
All right, the last one I'm going to pick. Yeah, I'll leave the last one there as an honorable mention. But this is definitely an artist that I think will go in a lot of people's Mount Rushmore if they truly look at the entire history of hip hop. Even a lot of modern day hip hop artists will still go back and give props to this particular individual. And it is the one and only Too Short. And I'm going to go with Life Is Too Short.
Life Is.
Probably his biggest commercial album off of this one. And, Too Short, this came out in '88. And Too Short was just one of those artists that for me back in high school, and I graduated high school in '91. So everyone had one of two cassettes in their car at all times, a Too Short cassette or a DJ Magic Mike cassette.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say NWA.
Well, yeah, NWA is definitely one that'd be in there too, but one of those two. And the main reason was because, back in 88, 89, 90, you cruise the boulevards. Like that's what you did. You cruised. There was no, smartphones. There was no texting anyone. So when you went out on a weekend, if you wanted to find out where a party was, what people were doing, you went to the boulevard and you cruised, and people gathered, and here's where we're going, and here's why I heard there's something, and all of that. So you turn around in the Robo parking lot, and you go all the way down to the Walmart parking lot. You turn around there, and that was the cruise. And of course, everyone's bumping their systems, right? The $1,000 cars with the $1,500 stereo systems in them, which everyone had, everyone had.
Yeah.
And one of the things that beat down the trunks more than anything consistently was Too Freaking Short.
Yeah.
Everybody was playing Too Short. And that's kind of what it was known for. Not only like his lyrics, and he was cussing and saying some dirty things at the time and all of that, but it was just the bass and just the boom that you got out of a Too Short cassette was priceless. So stuff on here like the title track, Life Is Too Short, Rhymes, I Ain't Trippin', probably the biggest song off of this. Pimp the Hoe, City of Dope, just all kinds of stuff. But the one I've always found the most odd is the song Don't Fight the Feeling. Even people that I've met over the years, especially, I don't know why, especially white women, I don't know why, they will not know any other Too Short song ever. But again, my own little experience, they always seem to remember the song Don't Fight the Feeling. They loved it back in high school. And did you listen to any other rap or hip hop? No. But Too Short, Don't Fight the Feeling, they all know it for some freaking reason. I just still don't understand why. But anyway, Mount Rushmore, Too Short, just a legend.
Yep. Yeah, man. E40 is another one, dude. I don't have an E40, but that's I was listening to back in the day, man, with Carlos Rossi and everything, man. So good.
Man, they so need to press the Mailman on vinyl.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost mentioned 2 Live Cruiser. That was another one that was well bumped up and down the boulevard.
Yep. Yeah, right there, along with Too Short, like you said, man. All right. Well, here's my last one, and then feel free to we can do some honorable mentions on your last couple that you got there. Oh my God! With Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew. I don't think I can get high. My voice won't go to falsetto anymore, man. I didn't want to crack on camera, but I mean the show. It's so good, dude. This does not have Lottie Dottie, which is so infuriating. That was on a single, but this does have the show on it. It's so great, man. I mean, if you were there, if you weren't, you probably wouldn't like it anyway. I don't know. It's like such a part of its time and everything, man. But yeah, man, Dougie Fresh, great stuff, man. Human Meatbox and all that, man. So yeah. Oh my God. It's such a good album, dude.
I still need that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't
Loving every minute of it is on here. You still need one of these?
Yeah.
I'll keep a look at.
So need one.
This stuff never shows up in the wild, it seems like, right? We've talked about this before. Like you never see a lot of this stuff. You have to get it online, seems like.
Yeah, and that going back to that alien discussion I had before, and I've said this for years. If you had to hand one song to define what rap and hip hop is, The Show by D and the Get Fresh crew is to me is the most perfect hip hop defining song there is.
Yep. So cool, man.
It's so good. So freaking good.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny when I think back to all that, being a 12, 13-year-old kid and singing Lottie Dottie and The Show and Egyptian Lover and like all that stuff. It's wild. I'm so glad that I was kind of exposed to that stuff just through the radio, and my cousins or whatever, we'd all listen to it and do our whatever crappy form of breakdancing or whatever. But it was like, yeah, when I hear that stuff, it's so weird because a record like that, which I literally hadn't heard in probably like 40 years, and I pick it up and spin it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like no pun intended, oh my God. But it's like it's like a time machine just took me back, dude. It's so cool.
So good. All right, well, the only other one I had sitting down here, this is one extra one. So honorable mention, Eric B. and Rakim, Follow the Leader. I think from an MC perspective, I've always said that Rakim's probably my favorite MC of all time. Um, and not necessarily because like all the lyrics that he wrote was so fantastic, although they were great, but it's just something about his vocal delivery. It's just the whatever, his voice, his delivery. It's just something about it. It's just one of the perfect MC voices. I
Mm.
always said he's the kind of guy that can go into a McDonald's and order a number 3 combo with extra cheese, and you like, damn, he over there dropping bars. You know, all he said was supersize it, but when it comes out of his mouth, you're like, man. Yeah, so yeah, Eric B. and Rakim. This is Follow the Leader. Again, another just fantastic album. They're most well known for the song, and their album Paid in Full, of course, which is kind of like just a legendary track, period. But I actually like this album more. Follow the Leader, the title track, microphone theme. Uh, yeah, just this is one of those ones in '88. I mean, I was a kid. This stuff was coming in, and it just totally and completely took me in, and love it to death. So that's
What
Eric
a
B.
year. 88, dude. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the first year that we started getting like mature rap or whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
but it's like it damn near has to be close. I mean, maybe there's a couple albums in 87 or whatever, but man, dude, just what you showed, it's like just banger after banger of stuff that was just had a it kind of evolved during that year, man. It was like something a
Yeah.
little different from what we got before that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is like, I think 87 to 88 was when there was just kind of some different elements of, there were guys that were wanting to jump on board the hip hop thing, and they just weren't down with the whole silly fat boys. Again, I say silly as in just like fun and light, because again, I
right.
love the freaking fat boys. But yeah, they just kind of saw a different avenue. And then of course, NWA came along just a few months later and took it to a whole different level, and everything just kind of went the way it went.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I gotta listen to more of that, man, because I do love that stuff that came out of the late '80s and the early '90s. I don't give it enough airtime, but yeah, man, that particular era is so good, before it really kind of transformed. There's like that sweet spot right between kind of like old school or and like, I guess what became new school, which now is
Yeah.
whatever. It's like 30 years ago, but
Right.
still. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like you said it earlier when you were like, you don't have any Pat Benatar records, but you were like, I see them out there, but I don't grab them and that type of thing. It's like you don't get that with that old school hip hop. You're never just out there and you happen to see it, but think about,
Yeah.
unless you actively go search for it and online or trying to stream it or whatever, no old school hip hop for the most part is just going to come by your way, and which kind of sucks, but it just doesn't, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We never see that stuff. I don't know if it's because people just snag it up super fast or if it's just I don't know.
Mhm.
But same thing with like the R&B we were talking about, it's like you might see some SOS band, you might see some Zap, you might see some Gap band, and stuff, but there's a lot of that other stuff that you don't really see as much, so but I mean, but the hip hop's probably the hardest stuff to find, the early hip hop stuff.
Yeah. Because you know what I even found, like going through and putting all my CDs in the Discogs and everything, I was even amazed as I was putting my hip hop CDs in how valuable some of those CDs were.
Oh, really?
Like even the CD side seems to be somewhat rare and collectible, if you will. But just typically, on average, you're not flipping through a section of your CDs if you're not talking about like some rare death metal or stuff like that. But it's just like this one's 15, this one's 25, this one's 30, this one's 10, this one's 25. I was like, I had no idea these hip hop CDs were going for this much. So I guess like the albums are maybe just as hard, if not harder to find when you get into the late 80s, early 90s. But even the CDs from the late 80s and early 90s are so freaking expensive and I guess hard to find.
Interesting. Yeah.
You
I don't
know?
know if maybe it is an era thing, like when CDs were first kind of being ushered in, or when people started, whatever, listening to them. Maybe they weren't pressing as many or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess a lot of those things too, like E40 wasn't going diamond, so there couldn't have been
Right.
that many mailman CDs that were out there.
Right.
Yeah, I would assume. I'm just
Even
talking.
you're saying like 15, 20. It's like, dang, man, if only we could get vinyl that cheap. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
expensive for a CD, but still a steal, right?
right. I,
Um,
I so wish they would press Mailman on vinyl. That's one E40 album I want on vinyl. One of my top 10 hip hop albums I want on vinyl so bad.
the one I really want is I was thinking about it earlier. What's his name? No, I'm gonna
Well, what's a song?
now I gotta look it up.
Oh,
He's I want to say Exhibit, but it's not Exhibit. It's all right, hold on. Let me show a couple comments while I'm doing this. And of course, Blondie's Rapture. Yeah, I mean, that's the first time we ever heard rap. I mean, kind of like, whatever. It's like, yeah, she's doing it's not obviously it's not it is a rap, I guess, right? So
yeah. First time I heard Blondie's Rapture was the same night I heard Planet Rock by Africa Bambaataa. I heard both those songs on the same night together.
No way, really?
Yeah, my cousin Theron, his mom had bought him singles for both of those, and I had dinner at his house that night. And yeah, I mean, I just left my little brains all over the place by the time I left his house that night.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would blow your mind right there. So yeah, the song I could think of was called "Move, Bitch," which is ludicrous.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's a version of that album that is edited, and they replace like the cussing and stuff with like dog barks, and it is hilarious. I think it's better than the like nasty version. And dude, it's on vinyl, and I want to get that. I want to get. It sounds weird, but I want the edited version because that's the one. Because my son, he was into it. He's like, oh man, buy me Ludacris. So of course he's a kid. I buy him the edited version. So that's the one we would listen to in the car. It's so funny. He's like, I don't give a woof and all this stuff. It's like I don't give a woof. It just the way whoever the engineer, whoever edited that thing to put it together and stuff like that, it did such a good job. If you ever want to just hear something cool, check out "Move, Bitch" by Ludacris, the edited version. Man, I think it's hilarious.
That's fun.
Rip Rabe says JJ. CJ, love Eric B and Rakim with Jody Watley, friends, twin hype.
You used to have that 12-inch single, but I think I sold it, if I remember correctly.
Raheem is suggesting you give the Fun Boy 3 to Rojas, or give it to Rojas. Lose it or give it to Rojas, he says.
Actually, the only reason it's sitting back there is because somebody bought it online, but they haven't paid for it yet. So it'll be gone soon enough.
All right. Well, there you have it. We gave you guys what? 32 records right there from the 80s, 4 different categories. Mount Rushmore. Thanks for sharing your guys' Mount Rushmores. Wow, I can't believe that took almost 2 hours. I'm like looking at the time going, dang, dude, where'd the time go? But hey, that's how it goes when you're talking about 80s music, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
I do think we got to do a deep cut. We got to do some fire that like some deep cut stuff, right? Some less common stuff. I feel like I'm showing the same common records sometimes, and I feel like, man, I don't get to show the stuff that is kind of cool that I really like. That's maybe not as well known. So we're gonna have to like figure out a video to show some of that lesser known stuff. Maybe that'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe we can do like maybe even do it by song, just like 20 deep cut 80s songs that weren't A-sides or weren't popular, but yeah, maybe something like that. I think it could be kind of fun.
There you go. We'll figure it out. All right, guys, appreciate you being here. Thanks for hanging out on a Tuesday evening with us, and we'll of course catch you guys next week.
Take care, guys.